This conference will now be recorded.
I have called the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Starting to my left, will you state your name and being present?
John Thomas, present.
Jessica Clark, present.
Steve Albanese, present.
If Trish, if you and Ruthie could let us know that you're present and visible. Al, if you are not on camera, we will not be able to record your vote. So the rules are you must be able to be heard and seen. So again, Trish and Ruthie, if y'all would let us know that you are present verbally, that'd be perfect.
This is Ruth Dew. I am present and visible.
This is Patricia Hilborn. I also am present and visible.
Okay, now. Number 2, the virtual meeting best practices. 2.1. Please be sure that your microphone is muted when you first join the meeting, as well as when you are not speaking. This cuts down on background noise and feedback for everyone. 2.2. Participants should be sure they are recognized by the meeting chair to speak and state their name and address prior to speaking. 2.3. During the video conference and teleconference meetings, the purpose of the chat function is to have a list for the chairman to recognize speakers and for them communicating technical difficulties or malfunctions. The chat is not for conversation during official meetings. Number 3, items of community interest. Items of community interest include expressions of thanks, congratulations, or condolence, information regarding holiday schedules, honorary recognitions of city officials, employees, or citizens, reminders about upcoming events sponsored by the city or other entity that is scheduled to be attended by a city official or employee. And last, announcements involving imminent threats to the public health and safety. 3.1. The first day to file an application for a place on the May 7th, 2022 general election ballot is Wednesday, January the 19th, 2022. Council member place 1, council member place 3, and council member place 5 will be on the ballot. The deadline to file application is 5 p.m. Friday, February 18th, 2022. 3.2. All city offices and libraries will be closed Monday, February 21st, 2022 in observance of the President's Day holiday. Okay, number 4. Discuss and act and to approve the meeting minutes. 4.1. November 17th, 2021 minutes. Do I have a motion?
I have a question.
I want the motion first. Do I have a motion for the acceptance of November 17th, 2021 minutes?
This is Stephen Albanese. I make a motion to approve the November 17th, 2021 minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, now for discussion. Any discussion or, excuse me a moment.
On number 5 on the minutes, it says that I, Stephen Harvey, voted A to approve the minutes in the previous one. I am not a voting member of your board.
That is correct. Okay. Trish, you have some discussion or comments about the meeting minute?
Stephen may have answered my question. I mean, we approved these minutes at our December meeting, and it shows in our December minutes that we approved them.
there was a typo. It said, where you say call to order and announce the quorum is present, it did not have the time. So I corrected that, and that's why they're back on here.
Okay, thank you. And also, Kathleen, it looks like since Al is not visible and 2 members are absent, that I will be voting tonight.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any further discussions or questions? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye. I'll start at this end.
Aye.
Do we need to get to adjust that so that it, we change it so that Stephen's not voting on it? Before we vote?
I would just say with corrections to that item.
Okay, that correction will be made.
Aye.
Aye.
Ruthie,
Aye.
Trish,
Aye.
okay, it's unanimous. Now we'll go to 4.2, and it's the December 15th, 2021 minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the December 2021 meeting minutes.
A second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussions or corrections for the minutes of the December 15th, 2021 minutes? Anyone? Okay, I will call for the vote. I'll start with here.
Aye.
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 Ruthie,
Aye.
Trish,
Aye.
it's unanimous. Number 5, discuss, consider, and act regarding the financial statement.
As you can see on page 12 under the revenues, that once again, we always talk about it not continuing forever, but while the construction is ongoing, our sales tax collections remain exceptionally healthy. We've already collected almost 60% of the revenue projected for the year, and we're only 25% into the fiscal year. So again, revenues are very high, and again, primarily due to construction. Not a lot of expenditures. I tend to spend y'all's money in big chunks when we have a big project, and right now we don't have any real big projects. So the operating expenditures are very low. But I'll answer any questions you may have on anything specific in the report. Y'all are very healthy financially.
Okay, any questions? I call for the vote.
I do have a question. Sorry, Kathleen.
Motion.
Thad, what is the, remind me, where is 201 Main Street? Excuse me, 201 Highway 156. What property is that? Is that the Mai Tai?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the December 2022 financial statement.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussions or questions?
Who seconded that?
What are you saying?
Stephen
Trish?
Alaniz.
Thank you.
Call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Ruthie,
Aye.
Trish,
Aye.
motion accepted unanimous. All right, now we're going to go to It is at this time 6:10, and we'll be going into the public hearings. Okay, 6.1. Discuss, consider, and act to adopt Mai Tai Restaurant as an economic development project eligible for funding.
As a little background, this is something that has been discussed at various times by the board, is the ability to sell the buildings to those businesses that have been leasing them for years. Because we're not doing appraisals, because we're not using a broker or going through a bid process, the proper way to be able to sell them at a fixed price that is agreed upon without those caveats is to adopt it as an economic development project. And you can sell it for whatever you agree upon with the business there. Now that still is contingent on council approval. We still have to go to council. They have to approve EDC actions. That's always been the case. But this is that next step. And again, Mai Tai has been leasing since November 2010, has been a valuable business in Old Town since that time. And they have shown an interest in buying the building. As one caveat that we discussed, the parking, that we have tasked the city engineer to begin work on design for what a parking lot would look like on the former Renzenberger property. So again, that will be something that we're working on moving forward to improve parking, not just for Mai Tai, but for Hcedc Feed and Mr. Jim's as well in that area, just adding more spaces. And again, this is to divest of individual properties, but it's really to provide a carrot to these businesses that have been here for a long time. It gives them certainty, the ownership and the commitment to the community as well. And hopefully the community will continue to support. So again, I would recommend y'all approve this as an economic development project, and that it ends staff report.
Okay, is there anyone publicly that would like to say anything or ask any questions? No further discussion. I ask for a motion. Excuse me, what did you say? I don't.
After this, my staff's presentation, officially open, ask for and against, and then close, please. That would be the technical public hearing piece of it. The whole thing is sort of public hearing, but there's a specific piece that the language is. Yes, if you write the time of opening the public hearing, ask for someone to speak for or against, and if there's nobody, then we say there's nobody who's speaking for or against, and then close that public hearing. Yes, ma'am. Mai Tai is one and Hcedc Feed is one. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any discussion for or against the development project being eligible for funding?
We couldn't hear the public hearing being opened out here in La La Land.
Could not hear it. There is public hearing starting when? Could you not hear it?
I couldn't hear you say that you opened the public hearing. I apologize, but maybe your mic wasn't on.
Hearing was opened at 6:10. Okay, okay. At this point, it's 6:14. We're closing the public hearing. Do I have a motion to accept
I'll
my
make a
time?
motion to
Pardon,
accept.
pardon, we didn't have discussion. I'm sorry. I have a couple of questions before we do that. Is
Okay.
it possible to go to number 3, discussion first?
I had asked that, nobody spoke. So what is it? that you want or say? You
Okay,
ready?
so yes, under the discussion, I just wanted to clarify, all this does this evening, I believe, is designates this property as an economic development project. Is that correct? We're not actually, we haven't actually taken, this doesn't take any other action. Is that right?
You are not officially selling the property tonight with this action. You're making it so that that can go forward and occur. So again, you can have the price in the motion that is expected so that it goes to council, but that allows us to begin all the paperwork and do all the rest once it's adopted as a project. But you are not officially selling the property tonight. Does that answer the question, Trish?
Yes, it does. And so if this board is already previously, before I joined, is this correct? Y'all have already voted to on the amount and the offer's been made. Is that already taken place?
Yes, it has.
Yes.
Okay, was the board in agreement to do that? I'm assuming it must have passed. Was it a
Board was
unanimous
in
vote?
agreement.
Okay, thanks.
I make a motion to accept the Mai Tai restaurant as a EDC project.
John, would you add the clarification just so that there are no additional questions, that the expected sale price is $220,000 so that it's officially in your motion?
And that the expected sale price will be $220,000.
This is Stephen Albanese, and I'll second.
I have a motion. Any further discussion? I call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Ruthie,
Aye.
Trish,
Aye.
motion passed. Okay, now I'm closing that public hearing at 6. Okay, I am now opening the public hearing at 6:08.
It's okay. On 6.2, you've read the item. I'll go into the staff presentation. And then when I'm done, if you'll open and then ask for any comments and then close. That's the public hearing piece. I'll do my staff presentation, then we'll open, close the public hearing as number 2, and then go into discussion. Right. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, just at number 2 before we go to 3, you'd close it. So number 2 is an open and a close, both pieces. That's quite all right.
Oh, I know. Okay. 6.2, hold a public hearing, discuss, consider an act to adopt Hcedc Feed and Farm Market as an economic development project eligible for funding. Staff presentation, please.
Similarly to Mai Tai, Hcedc Feed and Farm has been a very important business to Old Town. They have been in the current location since November of 2014. Again, similarly to Mai Tai, the desire is for the EDC to sell of that building to the business that has been leasing it for all these years, but without, at again, a fair price, but without going through the bid process, either sealed bids or getting an appraisal. The only way we do that is, again, by adopting it as a project, allows it to be negotiated free of those encumbrances. And again, the same thing, Hcedc Feed has really been a great corporate asset to the community, a real draw for Old Town. So staff would recommend approval of it.
All right, I opened the public hearing at 6:20. Anyone for or against? If you would like to speak, would present, say your name and address, please.
My name is Annette Lee, and I am currently the owner of Hcedc Feed and Farm Market. And my address for home is 704 Martin Road, Hurst, Texas. And the address at the feed store is 100 Main Street, Hcedc. Just to let you guys know, I'm thrilled to be able to be a permanent part of Hcedc as a business owner and part of this community. My family has really expressed a great deal of effort and time to make this business. I mean, we literally came from nothing and was able to make this a successful business in the Old Town community for Hcedc. And we're really excited about the growth. We're going to do some really wonderful things. We're going to completely renovate inside, outside our garden center. And we're also investing in a commercial kitchen for this property. We don't know where that's going to lead us in our path as we grow in this community. But between that and the things that we sell in the store, it's changed over the past since 2014, but we're really glad to have this opportunity as a legacy for my family and for this community. And thank you very much for the offer. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I will be closing the public hearing now at 6:22. Right. Discussion.
Kathleen, I have a couple of questions for Thad. First of all, just to clarify, same question that I had on the last item. This is something that the board has already approved. Is that correct, Thad?
When you say approved,
The sale.
vote has not been taken, Trish. This has been discussed in a format that I cannot discuss out here. So again, that's why the dollar amount is listed, and I ask for clarification when y'all make that motion that, again, you're not just adopting it as a project, but agreeing to the price that was just discussed previously, not in open session.
Okay, and what is the price on this property?
This one is $230,000.
Okay, and my last question, just for my own information, when you did your staff presentation, you talked about selling the building, but we're also selling the real property, is that correct? Or just the structure on it?
No, we are selling the entire property. It's not selling just the building. Again, I could probably change the language in that staff report, but it is selling the property at that location. Again, real and business.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? May I have a motion?
I move that we accept Hcedc Feed and Farm Market as an economic development project eligible for funding with the expectation that it'll for $230,000.
I'll second.
Call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Ruthie,
Aye.
Trish,
Aye.
it's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we go. Number 7, discuss, consider, and act regarding all properties and property management reports. I have nothing to discuss on 7. No action,
I would.
nothing to discuss. Do
The
you
one
have
I'd already
something?
talked about, the one that we had mentioned on our phone call earlier, was the parking lot. That's the only thing I was going to discuss, is that, again, the city has tasked the engineer with designing something that, again, maximizes the parking potential on Renzenberger, with the hopes that in the future, the Type B and city work together to create a parking solution there that helps all of Old Town, and as well as the TAP trail. So that would really be all I have.
to add, Kathleen.
And is that going to include the landscaping that's required by the city?
There is
this in-
discussion on function over form, except where it abuts against the residents, that would probably be full masonry as opposed to masonry posts with the wood slats in between, because those tend to fall apart fairly quickly. So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. Those discussions were had initially, but again, the direction was again, function over form first, and then we'll look at it at that cost at that time to see if it's going to be exorbitant or if it can be, managed in a way that provides the spaces without great cost.
Okay. Number 8, updates on current EDC activities.
The biggest one was one I think I may have mentioned at the end of the last meeting. I had just found out. I will say when we started the road and we created that TERS, I had mentioned that these buildings that were going up at Intermodal Commerce Park, which is where we had the groundbreaking for Hcedc Parkway, that the incentive for that, we didn't expect to do additional incentives, that the road would be the incentive, the accessibility and the logistics location. And they are now 100% leased. 1.4 million square feet, which is bigger than either Amazon is. They're doing finish work now, racking, moving in business personal property. We'll see additional impact or permit fees from this activity. And again, it's going to be a big addition to our tax base as all that comes in, which will help the TERS perform as well. So that was really big information. They were quiet for several months as they work through that process. Now that will leave us with the Volkswagen building vacant, but we'll work through that process once that happens, because Volkswagen is relocating across the street to a much bigger, newer facility. We are working on the website. Again, that's something that with everything else going on, it hasn't been top priority, but we are working through, since the city's doing a redesign as well, all those metrics of which pages are used most often, how to make those easily accessible, and again, how to make the EDC site and city site mesh together in a way that they're cohesive. Trevino's Craft Smokehouse, there was a post today on Facebook. That project is not moving forward. Again, I'd had discussions with Dustin, and I think it really came down to the cost to renovate was really too high for that property. So even looking at the EDCs, trying to get that for his vision, which was a much bigger location than what's provided by the existing building, plus getting that building up to current code was a hurdle he couldn't get over. And I think it's probably a wise choice. It's tough in the restaurant business, and he has not run a standalone restaurant business to date. So I think he's probably making a good choice. It's bad for us, but I don't know that it would have worked out long term. So again, we just found out today that he has posted that that deal is off. So we'll continue to look and work with Clarence on whatever else we can bring. Getty Holdings, that was approved by council, ratified at its last meeting, the $1,000. Again, this is for future annexation. This is the property at the 850 Blue Mound. It is, for lack of a better word, luxury storage facility for your RVs, for your boats. I believe the cheapest rate there is $700 a month. So again, when you live in an HOA and they tell you can't park that there, that's where you go park your nice toys if you have them. So again, the reason for this is the hope in the future is that the city will have some zoning control, some use control as that area redevelops over time. Again, it sits in the ETJ, very little control now. When it comes in, the city will not only receive tax revenue from those improvements, but again, we'll gain some control in the future. So, those are fairly, in the grand scheme of things, they are low investment cost as opposed to building a massive building. So those are good uses now, but typically over a 10 to 15 year period, they will redevelop into something else. And at that time, the city would have zoning control. So again, that's the other advantage to doing, and council did ratify that. That fee will only be remitted at the time that they apply for annexation. So again, there's no cost until that time. And that's all I have.
Number 9, discuss and act on meeting dates. 9.1, approve the 2022 HCDC meeting schedule.
Typically, we have waited until about October, and then again, every single time we change the November and December meeting dates to the week before. Every other board is now doing calendars and approving those as early on as possible so that y'all can work around that. We will still look to, during those holiday months, if there's nothing on an agenda, I will work with the president of the board and cancel. We don't want y'all just meeting to meet. And this clarifies those meeting dates throughout the rest of the year so that you can get them on your calendars so that they're known to, council and other boards as well. We're in the website. We'll also have accurate dates from now all the way through the year.
Thank you.
This is an action item.
All right. So I need a motion. Have y'all seen? Do you see the date? Oh, it's up there. Okay. Do I have a motion to accept these meeting dates?
I make a motion to
I move
accept.
to accept it. Which of us would you like to recognize, Kathleen?
Say again?
I think 2 of us made the motion. Which one will you recognize?
John.
All right,
make-
then I'll,
To accept the 2022 HCEDC meeting schedule.
I'll second.
Okay.
This
Trish
is
second.
Patricia.
I call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Ruthie?
This is aye.
Tricia?
Aye.
Motion passed. Is there an executive session needed tonight?
No, ma'am.
All right. Consider and act on any items from the executive session. We did not have one. Number 12, consider and act regarding items to be placed on the next agenda. Are there items currently on mind that we could place on the next agenda?
Unless y'all have something specific, we will carry the executive session. We didn't have anything to update this month, but we anticipate next month we would have an update on that topic.
Okay, thank you.
May I request, since our board is a significant factor in the Hcedc Parkway, and even though Thad is no longer directly involved in that, can we receive an update on the status of that project at our next meeting?
I can certainly put it on there and ask David, either get his monthly report and include it or ask him to attend. So
That would be lovely.
I will certainly try and get that on there as soon as possible. It may not be next month, but I will get it arranged.
All right, next meeting will be held February 23rd, 2022. We are now adjourned at 6:35.